Hello everyone, Bigdosses here and welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna do a Beast Mastery Hunter guide for Dragonflight. Now it's been a while since I made a video, and that is because first of all I got a new job, which is very nice but takes some time, needs to pay the bills, so I have to learn it. And secondly, well, there was not that much content to make videos about. So in this video we're going to talk about Beast Mastery Hunter, and we're going to talk about stats, talents, the tier sets, consumables, everything you need to know for Mythic Plus in general, and some raiding stuff where I can fit it in. I am not a raider myself, so I do not know all that much about it, but we'll be fine. Now, if this is something that you like, then consider leaving a like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton. If you want to contribute even more, then you can donate as well. Don't feel the need to. This is all free, but if you want to, hey, need to pay the gas bills anyway, so why not? Anyway, we're gonna get started, and I hope you guys enjoy. Now let's talk about stats. The first thing you want to go for is agility. This is on the highest item level, and so you want to go with the highest item level because especially the secondary stats are all very close, and so agility is even more important. So go for agility first, and not for necklaces and rings, of course, because there's no agility on them, and there you want the best secondary stat. Now for the best secondary stats, haste, critical strike, and mastery all sim about the same, or at least that's what I read up on, because I do not do those testings myself. And so those three, haste, crit, and mastery, are all about the same. But here's the thing, we're at the start of an expansion. You don't know the dungeons. I don't know the dungeons. Everyone's fucking up everything. Your healer is not gonna heal you. And so, what is more important than flat out damage? I think you need to hold on to your rotation. And we're gonna go to the rotation later on in the video, and we're gonna go over the talents. But one thing is very important. There is your frenzy stacks on your pets, and you want to keep that up to 3 stacks at all time, or at least as many times, as much as you can. And so for that, you want haste and crit. For critical strike, this will give you barbed shot resets, which will give you more uptime on your frenzy. So that helps with your rotation. Now haste as well. It helps with shorter cooldown on your barbed shot, for example. And so that way it makes it easier to keep up your frenzy. Secondly, it also increases your attack speed for your auto attacks, which will then, if they crit, will give you more barb shots. You see where I'm going? So haste and crit actually are important for your rotation to get it smoother. And so you want to go with that first. Mastery is just a flat damage amount. Mastery is very nice, your pets will deal more damage, but it's just flat damage. You don't need that early on. Well, of course you need flat damage, let's be real, but you don't need it right off the bat if you want to keep up your frenzy. And you are going to make mistakes early on. You're gonna dodge out of swirlies just a little too late and maybe fuck up your rotation, and crit and haste will help you with that. Now, if you read up on Wowhead, Icy Veins, Method, and all that stuff, and I'm gonna put my headset back on, for some reason it fell out. I need to really change this one. But the thing is, those guides all say go for it, haste, crit, and mastery, and just drop versatility. Versatility is not good. And if we are like week 3, week 4 in Mythic Plus season, I would definitely say yes, just follow those guides. But for now, I want to make a different approach. I would say get like more versatility. And why is that? Versatility, well, it increases your damage, but it also decreases the damage that you take. And this is very important because hunters are quite squishy. We take a lot of damage, or not per se a lot of damage, but we can't really heal it up easily. And so we are very reliable on our healer. And it's the start of an expansion. So our healer is learning as well. So every bit of damage that you can decrease is amazing. Because what is the greatest DPS loss there is? Yeah, well, it's being dead, of course. So if you're dead, you're not doing DPS. And if you're not doing DPS, then you're not gonna clear the key. So staying alive is quite important. You see where I'm getting at? And so I would say go with haste and crit, but also versatility where you can. Of course, I have 0 fucking versatility at the moment, which sucks to be my healer in M+, but yeah. And mastery, well, I would put it on the back burner. Maybe later on the expansion, when you are familiar with the rotation, when you are familiar with the damage pattern, that you know what to dodge and when, and your healers are also a little bit better geared and can keep you up, that's when Mastery gonna kick in. But that is my approach on the stats, and now let's continue on to the talents. Now let's talk about the talents. So on the first row, we do not want to go with Concussive Shot, because why do we need the extra slow? Maybe PvP, we go for Kill Shot, because it's amazing. We take Improved Kill Shot, and we take Post Haste. Post Haste increases our movement speed when we disengage, but it also frees us from movement impairing effects. And this is my Mythic Plus setup. And if we get rooted in Mythic Plus, you want to get out, because there's usually gonna go and come a swirly after you, right after you get rooted, so this is very important. Now, then we have Natural Mending, just the more focus you spend, the more exhilaration cooldown is reduced, and this is very nice for our self-heal. Counter Shot, you are a very big troll if you do not take Counter Shot. I have been doing some dungeons right now, and I see a lot of people who are not interrupting. I do not like you as a person if you do not interrupt. So just so you know. No, I'm kidding. But please take Counter Shot. Now we need to spend some points here, so we take Tar Trap to help our tank like Kite. And we take Survival of the Fittest because it is a damage decrease or a damage reduction, and it's very nice for us because we are quite squishy. Now, I do not take Misdirection. And why is that? I saw a guide, someone saying it's low-key trolling if you do not take this. Misdirect, it directs the damage that you as a hunter deals, and we only deal like or the threat at least, and we only deal like 10-15% of our overall damage. The rest is coming from our pets. So we redirect 15% threat from ourselves. Now there is a massive buff coming this week for hunters, or not hunters, sorry, for tanks for threat. So I don't think we need this. If we feel like our tank is really struggling, then of course we can take this, but for now I would not do that. Now we take Tranquilizing Shot because it is M+, and there's a lot to be purged or dispelled, and rages and magic effects. Take this. You will be so much better in your keys when you learn how to use this. And if you take the Improved Tranquilizing Shot for the 10% increased focus, then that's of course all nice and dandy, but this one you must take. Now, in this row, we take Nature's Endurance for our Survival of the Fittest to reduce the damage even further, which is very nice. And we take Born to be Wild, reduces the cooldown of Aspect of Cheetah, Survival of the Fittest, and Aspect of the Turtle by 20%. So overall giving us more defensive utility. Further on, we go with Camouflage. We like to be stealthy, and it's an off heal when we are outside of combat. And if we need to skip, we do not need to use a pot. And especially early on, we don't have the money, and well, it's easy. We take that. We take Rejuvenating Wind for more healing. We take, how do you say this? Binding Shot for the tether, so our tank can kite. And we're early on in the expansion, guys. So our tank will need to kite, otherwise he will die. And so we will help him with that, with our Tar Trap and our Binding Shot, and we're going to be the best spec in the game for helping our tank. I'm not sure, but we're going to do our best. We also take Intimidation because we like that personal slow. We can go, or slow stun. We can go for High Explosive Trap to just screw over the group and just knock every enemy away, and don't do that because otherwise cleaving is hard and everyone will cry, and don't take this. Now, here we take Hunter's Avoidance. The AoE damage is reduced by 6%, which is quite a lot, so that's pretty nice. Now, this is what I've taken. I'm not taking the extra movement speed because at the moment I feel like our tanks are not really running that fast, and so I don't really need it. You can maybe take these 2 points from Exhilaration, the overtime heal, and just put it here because you want that flat burst healing. But yeah, I like it this way. I like to play a little bit more defensively. Now on this row we take everything. We take Master Marksman. Our critical strikes causes the target to bleed for an initial 15%, which is very nice. We are going to, of course, go and stack crit a lot, probably for our rotation, and we will get it with our frenzy stacks as well. So this will proc a lot as well. Now we take this, Keen Eyesight, our critical strike is increased. Same. And we take Beastmaster, because we are Beastmaster and pet damage is increased. Well, you are an idiot if you do not take this. Now, on this row, we are going to go with Alpha Predator in the end. Kill Command now has 2 charges and deals 15% increased damage. This helps so much with your rotation, because you can use your Kill Command and have one rolling, and you don't need to hurry on pressing it the second it comes off cooldown, because you can have a second one rolling, and it's amazing. It really smoothens out your rotation. Now for improvised or improved Kill Command, your Kill Command damage increase, well, you need this to get there, and it's more Kill Command damage, so it's nice. We take 1 point in Serrated Shot, Serpent Sting and Bleed damage increases by 10%. This value is increased by 20% against targets below 30% health. Well, this is pretty nice, especially because this is Master Marksman is a bleed, our Barb Shot is a bleed, of course. We are not using Serpent Sting, so it doesn't have the full benefit, but it's still pretty nice. And lastly, we take Death Chakram. Death Chakram is better than Stampede. Well, Stampede is, damage-wise, it's actually pretty good right now, but the hitbox is a little bit wonky, and if the enemy starts moving, you are not gonna get the full potential out of this. And because BM in our damage profile at the moment is just overall consistent damage, we do not burst especially hugely, we are consistent, and so that Chakram fits that playstyle. We throw our Chakram, it starts to bounce, we are dealing more damage to the targets that it hits. So that's our baseline tree. Now for the BM Hunter side of the tree. Well, first off, we need all of this. The first, well, Cobra Shot is of course mandatory, Barb Shot is mandatory, Multi-Shot is mandatory for pure, not pure, for AoE. So take this only in raiding and only on a boss fight where there's only one boss to fight. You will not take this. Otherwise, you will always take Multi-Shot. And you take Pack Tactics for the passive focus generation increase by 100%, which is very nice. Now, these things, especially Multi-Shot and Barb Shot, I think should be or baseline, but they're not, so we're doing it like this. Now, we go down the tree here, increase the damage and healing of your pet's abilities by 30%, increases the effectiveness of your pet's Predator's Thirst, Endurance Training, and Pathfinding passive by 50%, which is just nice. We'll take this. And we, on the same row, we all take Training Expert, all pet damage dealt increases by 10%. We are a Beastmaster, we are playing around pets, so this is pretty nice. This also synergizes well with the Dire Beast that we summon during with our kill commands, but we'll get to there. So this helps with that as well. Now we go further down the line, and we do not take Kindred Spirit. Increases your maximum focus and pet maximum focus by 10% or by 10. It is okay, but there are just simply better talents to pick. Now we of course pick Animal Companion because we want a second pet, and that one also uses our kill command. So we have double kill command, and this is very nice also in our AoE, but we'll get there. Now we do Multi-Shot, then of course we take Beast Cleave. This is very important for our AoE, and we're going to talk about this in rotation, but if you use Multi-Shot, you will have Beast Cleave for 6 seconds, so you don't spam Multi-Shot, because Multi-Shot doesn't deal the damage, it's Beast Cleave that deals the damage. On the same row, Kill Command damage increased by 20%, is very amazing, we take this as well. Now on the next row, we are not gonna use Cobra Sting because we are not gonna use really Cobra Shot a lot. You will see it in the rotation section. We're not using Cobra Shot that much. So yeah, don't take that. Now we take Thrill of the Hunt. Barb Shot increases your critical strike chance by 3% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. This is the same thing as your Frenzy for your pet. You will get that for yourself as well. If you can keep this up, and that is with the rotation and what I said about critical strike and haste and the yada yada what I told you guys earlier, this will give us another 9% critical strike. Very nice. You want that. Now we also want Kill Cleave. This is new for this expansion. It's been there for hunters a while earlier, but it was not there in Shadowlands. But this is here now. Kill Cleave, while Beast Cleave is active, Kill Command now also strikes nearby enemies for 50% of the damage dealt. This is amazing. I really love this. This makes this playstyle a little bit that you need to be more mindful of, that you have Beast Cleave active while using Kill Command if you are in an AoE scenario. So yeah, I really, really love this. I'm very happy that it's here. Now, we do not take any of these things. I would have loved to take Sharp Barbs. Barb Shot damage increases, but we are not taking that right now. This is simply the better setup. Now, of course, we take Bestial Wrath. It's like mandatory. We do not take Dire Beast at the moment, and we take War Orders. Barb Shot deals 10% increased damage, and applying Barb Shot has a 50% chance to reset the cooldown of Kill Command. So the more Barb Shots we have, the more Kill Commands we have. And especially in AoE, the more Kill Commands we have, the more damage we'll deal, because we are using multi-shot to get Beast Cleave, and then we are Kill Cleaving for a tremendous amount of damage in AoE. Now, on the same row, or the next row, well, there's also Stomp, which will, when we cast Barb Shot, our pets will stomp and they will do AoE damage. Very nice. Now, we take a Barbed Wrath. Barb Shot reduces the cooldown of Bestial Wrath. So what's happening is we're going to shoot shit on a Barbed Shots, and that will reduce the cooldown of Bestial Wrath again. So we are doing more damage. Now, Wild Call, your auto-shot critical strikes have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Barb Shot. And this is why Haste is important, for example, and Crit, because Haste, as I told you guys, increases the attack speed, more auto attacks, more chance for them to crit. If you have a higher critical strike, the more crits you do, the more Barb Shots you get. Now, further down, here we have Aspect of the Wild. This again synergizes well with Cobra Shot, but Cobra Shot is just simply not good enough at the moment, and so we're not taking that, because we are using different abilities. Now on the next row, we have Dire Command. I only have 2 points. You can get this to 3 points, and we'll tell you why in a second. But I have 2 points in this. Kill Command has a 20% chance to also summon a Dire Beast to attack your target for 8 seconds. The damage of this Dire Beast is increased by your Training Expert and also by your Beast Mastery here. So this pet actually deals nice amounts of damage. And it also, if you look here at Dire Beast, increases your haste by 5%. So it synergizes very, very well with the other things that we're doing, because more haste is also very nice for things I mentioned earlier. So this one is very nice. Now, why do I have this 2 points and not 3 points? That is because I am taking Wailing Arrow. Wailing Arrow, the Sylvanas bow active, I think. If you shoot this, then all the enemies are silenced for 3 seconds, or 5 seconds, I think. No, 3 seconds, around the target that you hit. It deals a nice amount of damage, but it's about the silence. And we're doing Mythic Plus, and everyone is learning everything. And, well, there's a bunch of caster mobs, maybe, that you want the tank to help group up, or you just want a brief respite from all the cast. You can shoot a Wailing Arrow in them, and then they're all just silenced for 3 seconds. And it's just a great damage reduction, actually, for the group. So yeah. Now we have Scent of Blood here. Activating Bestial Wrath grants 2 charges of Barb Shot. So this synergizes all very well. I love the tree as it is made. So yeah. This has some playstyle things that you need to be mindful of, but we'll get there. Now, what we can do, or what we're not doing right now, is this one with the pack. Wild Call has a 5% increased chance to reset the cooldown. Like, you can get this 2 stacks, so you have 30% increased chance of resetting the cooldown on Barb Shot. It's pretty nice, but it's not in our M+ build. Now we have Brutal Companion. When Barb Shot causes Frenzy to stack up to 3 times, your pet will immediately use its special attack and deal 50% bonus. Now, this is important, because we're gonna go and we're gonna try and stay into our 3 stacks. And what we can do, if we have enough crit and enough haste, is that we'll deal enough or get enough Barb Shot resets to stay on 3 stacks. And this passive causes Frenzy to stack up to 3 times. So if you are already on 3 stacks, and use another barb shot, then it will use this passive again. So it's not like you need to get to 3 stacks, drop it, get to 3 stacks again, drop it. Don't be like that. Just keep it up and it will deal damage. And lastly, of course, Piercing Fangs. While Bestial Rat is active, your pet's critical damage dealt is increased by 35%. Very boring, but the other option is Killer Cobra. While Bestial Rat is active, Cobra Shot resets the cooldown on kill command. We're not using Cobra Shot, so meh, you don't want that. So go with this one. So this is my Mythic Plus build. Now for raiding, I'm gonna be very short. I'm not a raider, so I do not know this much, but I've read on some guides, and for pure single target, this is the setup that you're gonna go. So our main part, or our baseline hunter part, is mostly the same. We do not use counter shot there, we do not use tranquilizing shot, and we do not use our single target stun, because this is pure single target, so more boss fights. These things you're not gonna use on boss fights anyway. So there you want to go with Sentinel Owl, and you want to go with Sentinel's Protection, which will, if you use Sentinel Owl, will give your party 5% increased leech. It's not much, but this is something that you can bring to the raid as a utility. So you have also more points to spend, so you might want to go for pathfinding. And because we want to go with this route, you will go with Binding Shackles. You're not going to use that. It's not going to be useful in any ways, but you need to get there. So that's why. The rest is the same. On the other side of the tree, you see we're not taking multi-shot, not taking beast cleave, not taking gill cleave, because we are pure single target. And there you want to get to dire command. Every 5 dire beast summoned resets the cooldown of kill command and reduces the focus cost and cooldown of kill command. Because kill command is a very hard hitting ability, and on a pure single target, this will help out a ton. And you will take the dire beast talent as well, just so you can get to that 5 dire beast point quicker. And you're also taking Bloodshed, because Bloodshed is just a massive bleed, which will deal a shit ton of damage on a single target. So this is also very good on single target. So this is the pure single target raiding build. Now let's talk about rotation, because there are a couple of things that are very important in your rotation, which you should be mindful of. First of all, keep your frenzy stacks up to 3 times, or up to 3 stacks, sorry. Secondly, when you are in AoE, make sure that you have Beast Cleave active, but you are not spamming multi-shot. And in that same note, make sure that you will have use your kill command when you have Beast Cleave active. These things are very important for your AoE damage. So those things you should be mindful of. Now, how is a rotation gonna go? How can you smoothen it out? How can you do it like optimal? First off, early on the expansion, keeping Frenzy up to 3 stacks is no simple matter, and you're not gonna keep it up 100% of the time. It's just not gonna happen. That's fine. Let it drop off once in a while. Not on purpose, of course, but if you do, it's fine. Now, let's see, and let's talk about the rotation, and I'm gonna talk about it, I'm gonna do it, and you can see the buttons that I press will be underneath here, where my mouse cursor is. You can see it. Now, what I like to do personally, I do not know if this is the best, but what I like to do personally is I would like to start off with a multi-shot so my pets will start moving in. This icon over here shows you when my Beast Cleave is on or off cooldown. As you can see right now, they are attacking 1 target. If I multi-shot for this amount of time, you can see the damage because they are cleaving all around them. Quick tip, if you want to optimize your DPS, then make sure that your pets are like somewhat in the middle of all those mobs, so they have a bigger range on cleaving. But that's like big brain tactics. Well, if you're good, then maybe you will do that. I'm learning that stuff. Anyhow, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use multi-shot. Then I'm gonna use a barb shot on 1 target. I'm gonna use kill command because I want to have those 2 rolling, right? So I'm gonna drop this off, but I want these 2 to be rolling. I want them to be active. So this is a Mythic Plus scenario. Now, do I want to use Wailing Arrow? Wailing Arrow is a cast time. Do I want to use that pre-casted before the pull? Could be, but sometimes mobs are not clumped up yet, and so maybe it's not the best. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up with multi-shot. I'm gonna use a barbed shot. I'm gonna use a kill command. I'm gonna use a barbed shot again to refresh stacks. I'm gonna use another multi-shot to not drop it off. I'm gonna use bestial wrath. I'm gonna use a kill command. I'm gonna use another barbed shot to get to 3 stacks. Now I'm at 3 stacks. Now I'm gonna throw my dead chakram. I'm using kill command. I'm using barbed shot. Oh, it dropped my bestial wrath. No, not bestial wrath. Kill cleave. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm not getting to 3 stacks of kill command. And what I'm going to do is making sure that my barbed shot is not reaching 2 stacks. Not dropping off. So yeah, this is the rotation, more or less. And now I have another bestial wrath, so I make sure that my barbed shot keep running. Well, this is, if you can see it right here, if you paid attention to it, that is more or less my rotation. Now, my pet's gonna stop. I'm not gonna attack. I'm gonna talk about some stuff now. First of all, I didn't use Wailing Arrow. Why is that? Because I wanted the mobs to be clumped in a Mythic Plus scenario, and I wanted to make sure that when everyone's there, I can use it. Secondly, you want to use stuff off cooldown for Bestial Wrath and Dead Chakram. If like Bestial Wrath is coming off cooldown in like 3 seconds and Dead Chakram is off cooldown, then hold on to it so you can synergize. But otherwise, don't take the time to like perfectly sync them up. Just use them. Use them to deal a shit ton of damage. Now, let's see. Furthermore. Alright. Early on, keeping up your fancy stacks is hard. And so you want to use your barbed shot at the last possible second. And that is because the second one is rolling, and that way it will give you more time to spread out those barbed shots and to keep your frenzy stacks up longer. So try that. Let's see. Furthermore, also very important, spread out your barbed shots. Your barbed shots are dealing a bleed damage, and it will deal damage over a certain amount of time. And so using barbed shot on one target, that will refresh the cooldown. It will not lengthen the damage over time. It will just refresh. So if we hold over barbed shot here, it's for 8 seconds. And so you don't want that. You want to spread it out. And I made in previous videos in Shadowlands, I made some different equations, I think, English, sometimes hard. But think of it like this. If I use a barbed shot on one target for 1,000 damage, no, 8,000 damage, let's say 8,000 damage over 8 seconds. So 1,000 damage per second, right? So I use my barbed shot on this beautiful training dummy, and there you see it, it's rolling, and it will deal 8,000 damage at the end of those 8 seconds. Now, if I use barbed shot on the same target again, then, like, for example, it run 4 seconds. So I do barbed shot for 4 seconds, it dealt 4,000 damage, and I will reset it. Now, it will be 8 seconds again. So I will run the entire duration. So we have 4,000 damage of the first barbed shot and 8,000 damage on the second barbed shot. Very nice, 12,000 damage. But if I spread them out both on different targets, then it's 8,000 on one target, 8,000 on the other target. So it's 16,000 damage overall. That's 4,000 damage more than when I put it on one target. So please learn yourself to spread out your barbed shots on different targets. You can do this very easily by using a mouse over macro. So you hold the mouse over the target that you want to hit, and then you will just press your button and it will shoot on that target. Now I will put it on this one and it's on that one. I don't even have to click it. So if I want to keep this as my main focus, then I can just simply do that and hover my mouse over the different targets that I want to use barbed shot on. So yeah, that's something that you can do to increase your damage overall. So I hope this part helps you out. So we're almost at the end of the video. So if you are watching still, then, well, consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel because it helps me out a ton. And by now you should be doing that. All right. So, but other than that, let's talk about consumables. So For flasks, I would go for Vial of Tepid Versatility. And why is that? More versatility will give you more survivability, and especially early on, we've mentioned this earlier, this is very handy. You can also go for, let's see, I think it's called Glacial, a Vial of Glacial Fury. Whenever you first attack a target, gain a stack of Glacial Fury for 15 seconds, up to 5 stacks. Dealing damage has a chance to unleash a blast of frost damage upon the target, which is split amongst nearby enemies. So if you're doing an M+ key and you're dealing with a lot of different mobs and big packs, then you can also use Vial of Glacial Fury. But I think maybe going for versatility early on would just simply be better. More for survivability, it just helps you out. Now for food, you want to go for, let's see, the Fortune Cookie. The Fated Fortune Cookie. More agility, and more agility is just simply better. This is a cheaper option. Then you can also use, I think, a cauldron. I'm just gonna not even look up the cauldron stuff because I'm never going to pay that. So I would be going for the Fated Fortune Cookie. So those are the consumables I think you should know about before going into an M+ scenario. Now quickly, let's talk about macros. I will put them in the description down below, but the macros I like to use are, for example, the Binding Shot macro, which is an add cursor macro. So I hold my cursor here and I will just press the button and it will shoot there. You will not get the reticule, and you don't have to press twice to get there. So this is pretty nice. The same goes for flare, some traps as well. It's just nice for an add cursor macro. The other macro I'm using is the, let's see, it's this one, the mouse over macro. I talked about this in the rotation section as well. Mouse over a target and then press the button. That way you do not have to click the target to start hitting it. I'm using the mouse over macro for both barbed shot and for my kill shot, because it just makes it a little bit easier. And you don't have to forcibly swap targets all the time. So those are the macros that I like to use to just make my rotation, my gameplay a little bit smoother. Now let's talk about our tier set. Our tier set is very simple and it doesn't change our talents in any way, shape or form. It just shows us that we are on the right track by focusing on kill command and barbed shot. Because our tier 2 set will do our kill command damage increases by 10%, which is nice, and it has a 10% chance to reset the cooldown on barbed shot. So we have another way of resetting barbed shots. And because we are using talents which, if we use more barbed shots, then we reset the cooldown on kill command and we will get more kill commands. It synergizes just simply very well. It doesn't change our rotation though. The 4 set, barbed shot damage increases by 5% and barbed shot increases the damage of your next kill command by 20%. So again, this is a nice circle. This time, the barbed shot that we use, it will increase our kill command by a certain amount. And so it synergizes very well. It doesn't change our talents, so when you get the tier set, you will just feel a bump in your power, but you do not need to change anything about your talents or rotation or stuff like that. Now to round off this video, I just want to thank you guys so much for all the support that I've been getting throughout Shadowlands, and hopefully I will get your support as well during Dragonflight. I really enjoyed Shadowlands and all the feedback that I got from you guys on making these videos. I started there making YouTube videos and I'm still very much in a learning process and getting better at it. And so I hope that if you see this video that you will give me feedback on how I can improve this and where I am doing it right and where I'm doing it wrong. And well, I can use all the feedback that you have. Also, leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you liked it, of course, because that will help me out into the YouTube algorithm world and stuff, and it just will help me out, and that's very nice. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.